ya van días y varias semanas.
He hasn't given no response, and it's been days and it's been weeks, and he hasn't said anything. Y espero logren su objetivo de la justicia a su país. Luchen por su país. Say the best, basically fight for your country. Están bloqueando el acceso. ¡Viva! Porque la Policía Federal o la autoridad nos está deteniendo el acceso y nos está deteniendo el paso para poder cruzar hacia el Zócalo, señores.
Good morning to everybody. How's everybody doing? I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News and America's Boys News. God bless everybody that is watching. God bless my country of Mexico, my city of Tijuana, and God bless the United States of America. Let's thank God for giving us 2 legs, 2 arms, a mind that we can think, a heart that we can feel, and eyes that we can see. Good morning to everybody. Welcome on this Friday, April 16th of 2021. Let's get right into it. For everybody that is watching, I want to welcome everybody at YouTube and share this video on Facebook and YouTube on the both platforms. God bless you guys. Give it a like and share on YouTube. Subscribe so you can comment on the bottom, and also give it a like and share on Facebook. God bless you all. Let's start. Governor Gregg Abbott has done what President Donald Trump tried to do in the past administration, that is to designate the cartels in Mexico as terrorists. As you designate the cartels as terrorists, you have the ability by a law in the United States of America to go indirectly to where the cartels are located at. Go indirectly as what? As the military. Go indirectly as the military, as they have done, designating ISIS as a terrorist group, designating, Al-Qaeda, designating, all these groups that they were terrorists. Designating them goes into an effect as the military going in to the country and taking care of the situation. In difference with Mexico, that will cause a lot of friction. That will have another, to our Constitution. It will be violating our Constitution, and it will be also ultimately, violating our law. If another military designates or another country designates our group interior of our country as a terrorist group. This, in my eyes and in my perception, it is a slap in the face, not only to the United States government, not only to the Biden administration, but it's a slap in the face right now to the Mexican government to tell them we had enough. Enough is enough, and you guys need to do something about it. And let us see why Governor Gregg Abbott from Texas is designating the cartels, and he wants to, designate the cartels as terrorists. This is the statement from Governor Gregg Abbott. You can find this statement as the state of Texas and governor, his page, and it says Governor Abbott urges President Biden and Vice President Harris to designate Mexican drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. This statement was released on April 15 of 2021, And he goes on, quote unquote, saying, as governor of Texas, I urge you to take immediate action to combat the dangerous and deadly Mexican drug cartels. Reads the governor a letter. These cartels are being terror into our communities, to smuggle narcotics and weapons into the United States of America to fund their illegal enterprises. They force women and children into human and sex trafficking, enriching themselves on the misery and enslavement of immigrants. They murder innocent people, including women and children. These Mexican drug cartels are foreign terrorist organizations, and it is time for the federal government to designate them as such. I agree with him, but as I just mentioned right now, if you designate a cartel in Mexico as a terrorist group, I agree with him designating like that, but the policies of the United States government to enter our country with their military will cause a lot of friction. It will violate our Constitution. This ultimately has a purpose. If they're not going to designate them as cartels, as we have seen how they are in terms to immigration, how they're using their power to basically abuse migrants and their way to migrate to another country, as we have seen all these atrocities and all these horrible things that are occurring in our country, if you designate them as terrorists in the country of the United States, immediately the military will enter. That will cause a lot of friction. It will cause a lot of problems in our country, and ultimately it will violate our Constitution. What we need to do in our Mexican side as Mexicans is to exercise and demand our president to, for God's sake, do something about it. For God's sake, we are the embarrassment of the world. We're not doing anything to protect our people. We're not doing anything to protect our country. We're not doing anything to stop this. And it is just unbelievable that in front of our eyes, in front of the Mexican people's eyes, it is continuing to happen on a daily basis. You got threats right now, as I told you before, this video that are threatening the Mexican government. If they don't do anything, we'll start killing your families. We'll start killing you. It is just a complete embarrassment to the Mexican government. And Governor Gregg Abbott, Governor Gregg Abbott right here is giving a clear statement. Now, this is one of them. Then he did this. He tweeted, and this is another statement by Governor Gregg Abbott by another outlet. And this is an outlet by the Spectrum News. It says right here on the bottom exactly the same thing, but he tweeted this, and it is something that is really serious, people, because this is a governor. It's not just, it goes directly to the federal government. And it says, again, I will repeat what he tweeted or what he said. As governor of Texas, I urge you, to the Biden and Harris administration, to take immediate action to combat the dangerous and deadly Mexican drug cartels. These cartels being a terror into communities. They smuggle narcotics and weapons into the United States to fund their illegal enterprises. They force women and children into human and sex trafficking, enriching themselves on the misery and enslavement of immigrants. They murder innocent people, including women and children. These Mexican drug cartels are foreign terrorist organizations, and it is time for the federal government to designate them as such. Then he tweeted, urging Governor Gregg Abbott, urging President Biden and Vice President and Border Czar Harris to designate Mexican drug cartels as a foreign terrorist organization. And there's the letter right there for people to want to go and watch it. Then he goes on quoting on the bottom saying, designating Mexican drug cartels as foreign terrorist organization will give your administration new ways to fight them back, providing material support as resources to a foreign terrorist organization as is a federal crime and extraterritorial jurisdiction, punishable in some cases by life imprisonment. That is what Governor Gregg Abbott said. And also he added, criminal sentences are significantly longer for drug traffickers who fund foreign terrorist organizations. Unbelievable. But it is just, if the military goes into our country, it will cause a lot of problems. That's what I'm saying, that it will violate our Constitution. But ultimately, this is a slap in the face, not only for the Biden administration, that ultimately, this is a slap in the face for the Biden administration, who, by the way, again, for all you leftists, and I'm sorry if you get your feelings hurt, it is a total catastrophe right now in terms to the borders. It is a total catastrophe. And then you got a article that I will start. Why Governor Gregg Abbott? Does Governor Gregg Abbott have, a justification for saying that they're terrorists? Did Donald Trump had the right to say, let's designate them as terrorists? Let's study and let's see how the Mexican country, my country, the country that I live in, how has been operating and how it has been, practically the violence and the delinquents in terms also to trafficking, how it has been working. And let me just give you this statistic in terms to homicides. In terms to homicides, right here, this is a statistic that we need to study why they're trying to designate them as terrorist organization. This was a statistic. This was statistics given by Forbes in Mexico. And it says homicides in Mexico are reaching the record breaking on 2020. And the most of the homicides is due to cartel activity. This was published 8 months ago on September 2nd of 2020. And it says the government of Mexico on 2020 has registered a projection of 40,863 homicides, mostly related to the cartel. Now you go on the bottom and look at this statistic. It's just outstanding, this statistic. It says the governor of Mexico in 2020 established a new record of homicides registered with a projection of 40,863 assassinations. And it does not reduce the mobility due to COVID. That is the number that appears in the informant and the government informant page. For the second year in a row, as President Andrés Manuel López Obrador, the president that has been the most violent president in history, has breaking the record on his past year as president is 2019. That in his past year, you're talking about 37,315 homicides. So in the year 2020 and in the year 2019, you got past 81,000 homicides, record breaking in the history of Mexico. And only on the month from January to July, they just made this number. On the month of January to July in 2020, they picked up 20,494 homicides. It is unbelievable in comparison to 2019 that it was 20,176. Just for people to understand how, if it's a justification or not, for Governor Gregg Abbott to designate the cartels as terrorists, or ultimately to have this, decision to say, they need to be designated as terrorists. But you got the left in the United States of America. You got these leftist Democrats that they're saying that we need civil police in Mexico, and that we need to stop militarizing our country of Mexico, and that nothing is going on at the borders. You got another article right here by El Mundo. This article right here, as you guys see on the number on the top, it says 2019, the most bloodiest year in history of Mexico. Wow. This was an article released by El Mundo. Copy. That it says right here, the most bloodiest year in history, according to Mexico. And this is the numbers again. A total of 34,579 assassinations per year, 94 per day, almost 4 every hours, almost 1 every 15 minutes assassinations in the administration of Andrés Manuel López Obrador. Horrible. This is another statistic that gives you an idea of how come the violence and the delinquents and the homicides and the cartel activity in our country has escalated enormously. And it has escalated incredibly for people to try to designate. Now you got this irregular migration occurring in our borders. Imagine how much is going to escalate in terms to kidnappings and in terms to trafficking. Now, this is another article that I wanted to give you guys, because we're trying to find out if Governor Gregg Abbott has a justification for what is he saying to designate them as terrorists. This is another BBC News. We're just showing the facts. BBC News says in Mexico, the record of homicides is a record of homicides in 2019 again. On the first year of Andrés Manuel López Obrador as president. This is the same guy, for all you leftists that they live in the United States of America, that they support AMLO. You're going to say, oh, no, this was happening before, and the statistics are changed because that is what the conservatives are doing. Your justifications don't work. We want results, and results today. And the results are catastrophe. It says right here, violence increases as a record-breaking of homicides in 2019 in the first year of AMLO. Wow. And then again, you go again by numbers that they are, it says promise, promise not fulfilled right here, stating that AMLO did not fulfill the promise. And then you go by the numbers, and it says right here that according to the Secretary Executive of the System of National Security, from January to December, they made 34,582 homicides. This represents a 2.5%, an increase of a 2.5% in comparison to 2018. And this is the year that is considered the most violent year in history. It's amazing. And look at the things that they say on the bottom. This is incredible what this outlet of news says right here. The 5 states of Mexico, with the United States, next door to the United States as borders, they are considered as violent as the ones in Syria and Afghanistan. Holy cow. Look at that. The 5 states from Mexico that the United States considers more violent or as violent as Syria and Afghanistan. Just for you guys to understand how the situation is in the borders of Tijuana and ultimately also in the borders of all the borders into Juárez and the borders of Tamaulipas, Matamoros, just for you to understand how strong this is, that the United States is considering 5 cities that they are kind of related, and it is almost exactly the same as Syria and Afghanistan. Now, just for all these people that they're considering that our borders, there's no problems at the borders, there's no crisis at the borders, like the Democrats are saying, they don't read this. They don't put attention to the most important things, that is statistics, and how countries are being designated as, and cities are being designated as the more violent and delinquent in the world. The 5 cities more violent in the world are in Mexico. Just for you to know, for all you leftists, for all you Democrats, that they are pandering to the situation, there's no crisis at the border. Your crisis is not just the immigration crisis. It is just a security crisis. According to this article by The Economist, or The Economist, all right, the ranking of 2020 presents 50 cities of the most violent in the world. For the 3rd year in a row, one city is the most violent in the world. Guess which city is that? For the 3rd year in a row, for all you leftist activist writers that they live right here in San Diego, inadmissible that they use their folkloric language. Listen to this. For the 3rd year in a row, one city of Mexico, it is considered the most violent in the world, and that is Tijuana, the city that we live in. Which are the 5 cities right here? And, it says right here that one of the 5 cities It says Tijuana registered 134 homicides for every 100,000 citizens. Next city that is the most violent in the world, Ciudad Juarez, that is the border with El Paso, with 104.54 homicides. Then the other one is Uruapan, that is down in the central part of our country, with 84.54 homicides. Then it's Irapuato with 80.74 homicides. Obregón, Sonora, with 80.72 homicides. Then you got Caracas, Venezuela. That is another one from the country of Venezuela with 80.72. Then you got Acapulco, Guerrero with 71.61. That is in Mexico. And then you got Cape Town with 68.28. One of the rankings of the cities of Mexico, Victoria, Tamaulipas, that is the city next to Brooksville, Cancun, that is the border to Guatemala, Quintana Roo, exactly the border, the capital of Cancun, Culiacán, Sinaloa, that you guys know that particular city, Coatzacoalcos, Veracruz, that is the port of the Gulf of Mexico, Celaya, Guanajuato, Tepic, Nayarit, Reynosa, Tamaulipas, and Chihuahua, that is the state of Juarez. Amazing. Amazing. And you got these leftist Democrats in the United States of America saying there's no crisis at the border. Nothing is going on in Mexico. Open borders for everybody. This is another article that talks about the cities more violent in the world. There's another one that it specifies which ones are. And it says right here, this article released by El Tiempo. This article was released on the 4th of July of 2020. The cities more dangerous in the world in the act time. And these are, first one, Tijuana. You guys have seen me drive to this particular arc. This is Revolution Avenue. Our beautiful city of Tijuana is one of the most dangerous cities, is the most dangerous city in the world for the third year in a row. It says, for the second year in a row, Tijuana is the most dangerous city in the world in terms to cartel activity. They have registered 2,367 homicides on the year of 2019 and 2020. In 2019 and in 2018, there were 2,640. The number of homicides has decreased from 2018 to 2019. Number one city. This article was released on 2020, but right now, for the third year in a row, Tijuana is still considered the most violent city in terms of cartel activity. The border with San Diego, California. All you leftists. Then we go to another one. That this is Ciudad Juarez. The border to El Paso, Texas. And it says right here that Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua is the second most violent city in the world with 1,522 homicides, a number that escalates to 104,054 for every 100,000 citizens. In 2018, Ciudad Juarez was on number 5 of the rankings, but in 2019 and 2020, they are now, number 2. And they reach a number with 85,056 homicides for every 100,000 citizens. Number 2, Ciudad Juarez. Number 3, the border with El Paso, Ciudad Juarez. Number 3, Uruapan, Mexico. This is down south next to the city of Michoacan, the city of Michoacan has been taken over by the CGNG cartel. The city of Michoacan is number 3 in the world for most violent cities in the world. And the city reported 301 homicides on the year of 2019. And their number is between 85.54 for every 100,000 citizens. Unbelievable. Number 4, Irapuato, that is close to Uruapan. This one is number 4 for more violent in the world, and they are in Mexico. 723 homicides, and their number is between 80,074 for every 100,000 citizens. And number 5, Ciudad Obregón, Sonora. This is a city that is next to the state of Arizona. It registered 281 homicides with a number of 80.72 for every 100,000 citizens. If you go to number 6, it is Caracas, Venezuela, a city that is on a socialist country. It registers between 2,134 homicides for every 74.65 out of 100,000 citizens. You go to number 7. Guess who? Acapulco, Mexico, another city from Mexico. They got 600 homicides, and they present a number between 71.61 for every 100,000 citizens. You go to number 8, Cape Town, South Africa. This represents it was number 11 in 2018, but they cranked up to number 8 in the year 2019 and 2020. And they have registered in 2019 3,065 homicides with a number of 68.28 for every 100,000 citizens. You go to number 9, St. Louis, Missouri, the United States of America. The first city of the United States to enter the ranking on the top 10 with 194 homicides in 2019 and 64.54 for every 100,000 citizens. And then you go to number 10, and it is Victoria, Brazil. It has a number of 205 homicides with a number of 60.01 with 100,000 citizens. So you got 7 cities on the top 10 of Mexico for more violent and delinquent in terms to cartel and homicides. This is trying to justify what Governor Gregg Abbott and President Trump were saying to designate the cartels as terrorists in our country. So you got 5 cities on the top 5 for killings of men and women. And the most violent cities of the world, it is all Mexican cities. And the most violent city of the world for the 3rd year in a row, it is Tijuana. This is the city that is connected to San Diego, where a lot of activist journalists or activist writers, they're saying that nothing is happening on the other side of the wall. And that this immigration of influx has nothing to do and is not going to affect. Amazing, huh? Amazing how the left plays the card that nothing is happening on the other side of our country. On the other side of our country, not their country. Listen to this. Let me show you this article, because we have to go to how much they have drug bust or seizures of drugs in the year 2019. And this is an incredible number. It says right here, an article released by La Jornada, and it's a Mexican really recognized newspaper, that says the seizures of drugs or drug busts have increased in comparison with 2019, according to Sedena, that is an organization of the military. And what the year goes of 2020, it has increased the number of drug busts or seizures of, listen to this, 518%. Holy cow. A 518% of assurance of fentanyl and methamphetamines, and 139% of increase of the glue of opium. It has increased to 268% of marijuana is the increase that they have received a drug bust and seizures. Amazing. Is this how it has escalated? It is just unbelievable. And you're talking about that we are okay on the other side. There's no crisis. Oh, and by the way, 19 Democrats wrote a letter to Anthony Blinken to saying we need civil police. We don't need to militarize our country. That's great. That's just great, huh? Listen to this last article that I will put right here before I put a video to remind all these leftist Democrats about what is happening over here in our country. And it says, this article released by the Animal Politician. It says, the pandemic does not stop the cartel. And it breaks the record in the last 5 years of seizures or drug bust of cocaine. Wow. And it says that the fiscal general of the Republic in 2020, they initiated 7,876 investigations due to drug busts or seizures of cocaine in this year. It is just amazing that you have the left in the United States of America that they are saying that everything is okay on the other side of the border, that nothing is going on. And now let me present you this last video for all these, for a justification for Governor Gregg Abbott to designate them as terrorists. Yes, they are, but it's really difficult, the arrangements that you have as a United States government to enter our country with the military. I don't think that is going to happen. And Mexico is not going to let that happen. What is understandable, it is that something needs to be done immediately, and it needs to be done now. You guys remember this video, right? I believe that you guys remember this video. And let me just play this video. And let me just tell all you leftist Democrats and all you people that you are telling us that we need civil police in our country and we don't need the military. This is a video that it went viral, and it is the CGNG cartel. According to 19 Democrats that wrote a letter to Anthony Blinken, they're telling Anthony Blinken to talk to the government of Mexico, for the government of Mexico to stop militarizing our country when we have this. These people have more technology, more artillery than the Mexican military. They have more technology and more artillery than the Mexican military. It's just unbelievable how these people, they want to designate our country. They want to take away our military from our country. These Democrats, they want to designate our country as civil police. Look at this. Do you think that this is civil police? Do you believe that this is going to get resolved with civil police? Nothing is going on at the borders. Nothing. Everything on the other side of Mexico, it's okay. Right? Leftist Democrats? Right? Everything on the other side, no, it's not a crisis. You're misunderstanding the word challenge, Oscar. All right. What is it then? You tell me, what is it? What is this? How the Mexican people are going to fight this? And why Gregg Abbott has a justification to designate these people as terrorists or these organizations? Just give me an explanation. If he has a credible justification to designate them as such. But let me tell you something. If he does that, it's going to bring a lot of problems into our country, because the military of the United States will enter our country, and that is not going to be possible. But this is a slap in the face to the Mexican president that is letting all of this kind of videos that they went viral to happen in our country. It is just amazingly ridiculous how these organizations have more power than our own military. And you got 19 Democrats writing a letter to Anthony Blinken for Anthony Blinken to write a letter to our government to stop militarizing our country. How in the hell do you got this idea that we're going to stop militarizing our country? First of all, you don't even live here. First and foremost, you don't even live here. Number one, you're over there and you're, in your nice little office in Washington, eating, drinking your coffee with a nice donut, and you're taking decisions of what is happening over here. You don't even live here. Second and foremost, how are you going to where's the logic on this? Just tell me the logic on this. Somebody give me the logic on this. Unbelievable. And we're still considering these people on your country of the United States to take decisions on what is happening in our country. This is what is happening. Now, the organized crime has taken over the borders of Mexico, and not only the borders of Mexico, they're trying to take over the borders of the United States. And these situations, which you're not only taking, over the border of Mexico, but now you want to take over the border of the United States. It is really dangerous. National security kind of dangerous. This is the organized crime. This is the organized crime, how they are equipped. And you're telling me that there's no problem at the other side of the border. You're telling me that there's no security crisis at the border. You're telling me that, this statement from Gregg Abbott, if it's not taken seriously to push the Mexican government to do something about their borders and to protect their citizens, not to bring the military in by the United States, but to push the Mexican government and the Mexican president that, for God's sake, do something about protection of your cities and protection of your citizens. And let me ask you something. Before we go on, as I have just read to you, 5 cities on the top 5 for violence and delinquents, they're from Mexico. Do you see massive caravans of people leaving Mexico? Question mark to all the lefties. Do you see them? Do you see massive caravans exiting our country of Mexico to another country? Got 5. I just put you. I don't see San Pedro Sula. I don't see cities of Central America. I only saw one. I only saw one. It is Caracas, Venezuela. And they have a big justification, Venezuelan citizens, because they're going through a socialism and communism. That is the country that I will justify more as every single one in Central and South America, and also our country of Mexico, that they deserve the asylum, Venezuelan people. But I'm just asking this question. Do you see massive caravans exiting our country to go to another one? Question mark. Just a question. It's amazing how you have the leftist pandering into a business that is the human smuggling, the child trafficking, and ultimately what the leftist nonprofit organizations want. That is ultimately the $4 billion that Joe Biden wants to send. That is what they're waiting. In those migrant camps, the activists of the United States of America are telling the people, don't move, don't go to the shelter. They're going to treat you bad at the shelter. Stay here, stay here. Why they want them to stay there? Because there's their business. You got the lawyers, you got all the organization right there. We're going to take care of it. It's a whole operandi. We got it. We don't need no shelter. We don't need no federal government. We have it right there. Hey, I want to start a little store to sell chiclets, and this is going to cost you 500 pesos or 300 pesos. I want to stay here for a week to enter 300 pesos, 350 pesos per week. Amazing. The operandi of these migrant camps that they are now going to be designated as autonomous zone because nobody enters there. Nobody goes in there. It's amazing, huh? And you got the left pandering something that they're suffering. Everybody's suffering. But you got actual citizens and borders that they are going through these kind of situations. What I just shown you. Statistics, video, stat of the reality of what is happening in our country. Amazing. How's everybody doing? I'm Oscar Blue. Good morning to everybody. Discussion about the statements of Gregg Abbott sending a letter, the governor of Texas, sending a letter to the president of the United States of America, President Biden, and also sending a letter to Vice President Harris to tell them that they need to designate the organized crime or cartels in our country as terrorists for what they have been doing. I'll leave you to your own judgment after I've shown statistics, numbers, stats. Is your own judgment. Take it as you want. Do we need help to fix over here the corrupt system in our country? Yes. Has it been like this for the longest of time in years? Yes. Is it time for us to fix it? Yes. Is it time for us to stop it and make a better living for our children and the future of our family? Yes. Is it a time for Mexican people to stand up and say enough is enough? Yes. Is it time for Mexican people to be safe in their country and to be going to school, to take a taxi, going to the grocery store, going outside late at night that we cannot go outside late at night now because everything is so insecure? Are we tired of it? Yes. Is it time for us to stop this and to demand to the Mexican president to do something about this because it is so out of hand now? Yes. We have a right to live free. We have a right to live free in our own country. And we have a right under our Constitution to exercise our constitutional rights in our own country as Mexicans. We have a right, damn it. And we cannot exercise that right because we live in a violent city, in a really insecure country where they are assassinating women, taking advantage of women, assassinating men, taking advantage of borders, taking advantage of our country. And we cannot go out late at night with our families because everything is violence and insecurity. If Governor Gregg Abbott is sending this letter to the President Biden and Harris, it's a slap in the face that for you to pressure our government of Mexico. And it is an embarrassment to the president of Mexico, that is Andrés Manuel López Obrador, that a governor from Texas, it is acknowledging that we have a catastrophe at the borders and that we have a situation in the borders and that nobody is fixing it. And your Mexican people are suffering. Your Mexican people are suffering strongly every day. And you're not caring. But the one on the other side that is on Texas, he's caring. He's understanding. He knows what is happening. But you on the other side, you don't care because it's all corruption. It's all money for you. It's all power. Amazing. God bless everybody that is watching. Thank you so much for watching me this morning. We will be live right now in Spanish. I will take a little break. And I will be live right now in Spanish to talk about the same topics. Same topics in Spanish. And ultimately talk about the same situation. If I go live in StreamYard, it will, possibly I will go live, just go live and read what is happening over here. But, we will go live in Spanish. You can follow my partner, Real Anthony Agüero. You can follow him at all the platforms, Instagram, Orbis, Gab, Rumble, Facebook, YouTube, Parler, all the platforms. Real Anthony Agüero. Follow him. And also, you can follow me at my Facebook public figure page as Oscar Blue. Also, subscribe to my channel at YouTube. It's Oscar Blue. Instagram. I will be live at Instagram in about an hour to give a live feed exactly about what we're talking about right here. But I will be live at Instagram, trying to be as much as consistent as I can at Instagram. And also follow me at Rumble, that I'm kind of uploading every once in a while videos. So God bless you all. Stay safe. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful weekend. And like we always say, people, peace and love. Because always, your country's first. God bless.
Y ya van días y varias semanas.
He hasn't given no response, and it's been days and it's been weeks, and he hasn't said anything. Y espero logren su objetivo de la justicia a su país. Luchen por su país. Say the best. Sacrifice for your country. Están bloqueando el acceso. ¡Viva! Porque la Policía Federal o la autoridad nos está deteniendo el acceso y nos está deteniendo el paso para poder cruzar hacia el Zócalo, señores.